the number one reason, in my opinion, to involve caregivers in the healing process is that it leads to improved outcomes for everyone involved. And the research on these family supported therapies, not family therapy, and not like a friends and family group where it's just focused on support, but really leveraging caregivers, spouses to implement actual strategies in the home environment or even in the clinic, that when we engage people in this way, it's better for everybody. And I have a list of outcomes here, including reduced caregiver burden, which is a little counterintuitive, right? To have them more involved reduces caregiver burden. How could bringing parents, caregivers in a more intense way actually lead to less burden? So again, those of you who have experienced supporting a loved one with a serious or chronic health or mental health issue might have an understanding, a lived experience understanding of this piece, is that what is most detrimental to the mental health of a caregiver is to witness a loved one suffering and feel helpless or ineffective in the face of it. In EFFT, if a caregiver's already like burnt out, which often happens, I'm sure many of you have had that experience repeatedly in your practices, I'll say to them, I don't want you to do more. In fact, I'll ask you to do less. How many hours a week are you engaged in caregiving, offering support, behavioral or emotional or otherwise? And let's say they say 10 hours. I'm like, okay, let's do 8. Let's bring it down to 8, but let's change what you do. So it's not to do more necessarily, but to do different. Because when they engage in ways that they see are yielding fruit, then it's actually uplifting. It's empowering. If on my best day, I'm working with Courtney and, I have this really awesome therapy session, chances are it will help Courtney. Okay. However, if I teach Courtney's family member to do some of the things that I'm doing in the session, and they do it less frequently and less intensely or less effectively, they will still have more of an impact than I would on my best day. And the neuroscience really supports that. Our brain responds, if you think about lighting up, if our brain lights up, our brain lights up way more in response to people who are close to us than they do relative strangers, even if you have a strong therapeutic alliance. And so I'm kind of obsessed with efficiency. I used to live in Toronto when I was doing my PhD, and I would I would figure out like exactly which door of the subway to get in so that I could, get out at the right spot to get to the stairs, to get a little, because I was really I've always been really obsessed with efficiency. And so that's actually one of the major reasons why I'm so committed to bringing in family members, because it's more efficient. The other piece, and this is more of a social justice piece, in my opinion, an advocacy piece, is that mental health issues often require more support than what the system can provide. I lived in a very rural area, very small population, very limited resources. And there were so many people in outpatient treatment programs that needed at least day hospitalization, if not more intensive services, So many people couldn't get those services because it meant they'd have to go 4 hours away. And if they were adults with mental health issues with children or whatever, it just didn't make sense. Or if they're kids, it didn't make sense. And so that was another impetus for drawing in family members in a really clear way so that we could help people get better treatment.